Hello, people. I'm sorry if you can hear a bird that just suddenly decided to start making a lot of racket. Okay, Rob, let's see if we can get you in chat now. How did we do it last time? Let's see. Tap the viewer to be in your broadcast. Okay, Rob, I think you may need to click on the image, the thumbnail, or make sure that all your devices are plugged in correctly. Something. Hi, Paul. Do you know what? Facebook keeps changing these things. And I genuinely keep getting lost as to how on earth to add people to chat with. Green icon to the right of the chat bar. I get it. Rob, if you're watching, darling, you need to plug in something with a webcam. Because it's not showing up. I've got Angela here. Bring them on camera. Paul's got a little green icon. I'm not going to press any of these because it is with Rob. So, Rob, you need to get plugged in. That could sound rude. Let's not be rude. Shall I take you for a wander around my house, eh? Well, you're not going to see any in my house. But I can take you out back. See, even my cat wants to get on it. So, do you know what? Natural lighting. It's so much better. I'm here, I've got my webcam. Confused. Rob, make sure everything's switched on, plugged in. I mean, are you on a computer or a phone? Because it might be easier to do it by phone. Who says social media is hard work? Hey. So I'm going to plug a bit of light into the living room because it was okay to have the other lighting for the laptop, just not the phone. Rob, listen to Paul because I'm just going to keep talking on this one. As I was saying about authors and their interest getting talking, learning what each other knows. It's interesting, it's inspiring, so I am very happy to host other authors on my page and sit there, have a chat, get involved what they're doing. Rob, it might be easier doing it on your phone if you got a camera on your phone. I don't think Facebook's Live is made for laptops because everything seems really annoying to use. Just a note to Facebook. Yeah, Rob, if you listen to Paul, he's saying he's got a little green icon in the corner of his picture. I can see that. I can't see it on yours, so either your webcam's not switched on or I'm just gonna let Paul shout at you because you are useless with technology, Rob. Absolute terrible. So funny. So, interview a horror author. I've even written all my questions out for him as well. Which is kind of funny. Yeah, I've got some good questions for Rob. He'll be effing and blind at his screen right now, which I find kind of funny. So, why horror? As you can see, my hair is a little bit green in parts. Oh, it just looks that way on the thing. It's not actually. Anyway, enough about my hair. Back to horror. Aha. Hang on. Approve. Do it. 3, 2, 1. Add in. Add in. Hello.
Hello. Hang on. I've got the volume up now. It's I'm on the Kindle, so.
You're on the Kingdom.
I'm on my Kindle.
Or Kindle.
Yeah. I'm on my Kindle. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'm just gonna plug myself in because I'm on the phone because the laptop wasn't working too well for us. So, how have you been?
I'm not too bad. Same. I've been suffering in the heat, but otherwise pretty good with everything going on. Just still working on lots of mad stuff. Hopefully, I might have some work coming soon. Still waiting for major work to be edited and things like that, but all good.
All good stuff. All good stuff. You work outdoors, am I right?
Most of the time, yeah.
Doing your day job.
Doing my day job.
It's not good for vampires, is it? Working outdoors.
No. Luckily enough, I'm more. I think I'll be probably more of the living the undead rather than vampires. The one most of the time is undead.
Well, this is my kind of weather, you see. I love it. But I was going to ask you. So let's get this interview started. What got you into horror?
What got me into horror was and so old school horror. Writing horror. That tends to come from, obviously, everybody knows that I'm heavily influenced by Clive Barker. Love
a bit of Barker.
But not everybody would know, obviously yourselves, but Paul Flint will know that I'm also influenced by people like Lovecraft, by Poe and Dickens.
Me too.
Classical things
heavily,
like that.
Yeah.
And they really inspired me to get into horror because they showed me how you can write horror without having to be in your face with what's happening. It's everything about atmosphere, building the atmosphere, building a sense of foreboding and sense of doom without ever having to draw any blood. It's all suggestion, and they're what taught me, and that reading that sense of impending disaster that they could bring into the story without having actually laid any blood on the ground, without having killed anyone or even hurt anyone. It's that sense of something's coming. Dickens did it brilliantly, especially in things when you look at things like Great Expectations, and you've got the whole atmosphere going through. You've got Pip being accosted by the in the graveyard, and it's all the way essentially. Then it goes into Miss Havisham and everything going on with her, and the house. You got this sense of impending danger all the way through, and that kind of really got me hooked. And you find then it's increased by people like Poe and Lovecraft. They do the same thing, but they add, the a sense they add more to it, to the storyline in terms of anger or revenge. They'll add into there, so something will happen, something will twist
completely agree with you.
something will twist the main character, and they will end up doing something, or you will get with Lovecraft, it's a whole mythos. There is the whole mythos of the creatures of Cthulhu, creatures that we don't know about, and so then again, so they brought. That's what I learned from them, was there's something else. You can have something else sitting in the background. They're always there, and and you can reference them as many times as you like, but never actually bring them out. It's that sense of they come out, and they might be in a shadow, they might be ethereal, and when they come out, you're shocked. They're coming out, but you don't actually get to see them. And the greatest thing about that is you can leave it to the reader to create them in their own heads. You can just suggest what they are.
Yeah, completely agree with you on that. Paul's just, if you want to look at the comments, Rob, Paul's saying he's reading, I'm going to butcher that title,
Necronomicon. Yeah.
I told you I butchered the name. I mean,
I
like horror for the same reasons as you do, is you can really get your teeth into it. And I grew up on the same, nutrition of horror that you did, adding Dean Koontz into the mix, adding Masterton, and those old horrors, not so old, but I'm going to say middle. You've got your H.P. Lovecraft, and then you've got all the Stephen King, Barker. So they're relatively modern, but I suppose we're in the next generation, or the other authors that are releasing horror and doing it well at the minute are the modern people who grew up on that and have turned it into their own interpretations, if you like. Would you agree with that, Rob?
I would. I don't necessarily know whether I do it well. I do it differently, I think. So well is subjective to, that's down to anyone who reads my books. But I've been pretty lucky with what people say, so I'll just assume that I do it okay. But it is right. I mean, we're taking generations of where horror began. We're taking what generations have learned, and we're just the latest generation taking what 3-4 generations have done. So you'll always tend to be a little bit of standing on the shoulders of giants, but it's all a case of taking what other people have done, learning from what they've done, learning from them, especially if you've got an opportunity, a wonderful opportunity to speak to someone in the flesh, someone that you've really admired, and speak to them in the flesh and pick their brain and get some advice from them. Then you've got something to work from, you've got something to build upon. And it's all about taking what people have done, taking your own ideas, seeing what's been done, and just, you can have the same idea as has been done a million times before, but it's how you approach it and how you interpret it. So I mean, that's why we've got thousands and thousands of vampire stories, vampire books, they're all different because someone's taking it from a different direction. Someone's come into it from a different perspective, and you've got to come in from a different perspective. But you know, it's just learning what other people have done and saying, right, okay, I've got this idea, and you're taking a specific character set, and then just using your own unique ideas with it. Just saying, well, what happens if? Asking those questions of yourself, and then write them down, and then see how it comes out. And as I say, we're always doing something. We're putting our spin onto something that might have done before, or we're taking things that have done before and then creating something new.
Yeah. So I just looked at Paul's comments about James Herbert. I actually haven't read any of his books, but years and years and years, very early introduction to horror actually by
Yes.
Herbert and Barker. And I was going to say, a while back, I started following Gray Masterson because I wanted to know when his books were out, if he had any new material out. And I sent him a copy of my manuscript, and I actually got some feedback, which, you know, I thought was absolutely correct and valuable to me. He's one of my heroes. And it makes it all worthwhile when you get to connect with those kind of people and see what they do on a day-to-day life, especially with social media and stuff. And then having read all their works and thinking, these people are absolutely genius. You know, I can't compete with that. But as the next generation, we can try and entice the generation that's going to come after us into writing, into making horror films, into making music and art. You know, I find some of the most beautiful pieces of art are within the horror genre. What do you think of where the genre is today within the industry of publishing books, writing books? And Paul, if you want to chirp in with that, please feel free.
For me, it's difficult because you can see there's a lot of pros and cons with the industry as it is at the moment. Like everybody in old school, I do love print books. I do love the ability to hold a book and smell it and really get absorbed into the book physically through holding it.
Yeah.
But you know, even so, we have to accept that generations below us now and onwards are all digital. It's all online, it's all digital, everything's downloaded, everything's straight from. So we've got to accept that not everybody wants a paperback book or a hardback. People do want instant access to things, and whether that's right or wrong, it's not for any of us to say it's right or wrong. We have to accept that life is different for other generations. We can have our preferences, but we can't say to people, you can't do this because it's wrong. It's harder now to make a living out of it because of the changes going to multimedia. But I don't think that it shouldn't be about making money. It shouldn't, yes, if you're putting your heart and your soul into the work, then it's not unfair to expect some recompense in terms of financial reimbursement for all that you're doing. But at the same token, it's about the passion. It's all about you should be passionate about it. It doesn't matter if someone doesn't buy your book. It's about how people read it. And if people are reading your work, then you will get somewhere. And to me, I may never, ever get to a point where I can be financially stable and comfortable.
Depend on it. Yeah.
But, by the time I die, I might have millions of readers. And for me, it's something to leave behind me. I have a legacy of work that for some may like, some may not. But I've got something to say. When I bow out, I can say, I did this and I did it off my own back and I achieved this. I didn't have
Yeah.
anyone, with great wads of cash promoting me all over the place and doing all this. I did this like I've done everything else. I've done it myself. I've built myself up. I've spoken. I've managed to connect with certain people and just get advice. I've never asked anything from anyone. What I've been given, what I've got is people being very kind and offered me certain help and what have you. But I've never gone on and badgered people for anything, whether it be professional or anything else. And that's the way I
I
like
like
it.
Paul's comment. If you just, I don't know if you can see the comments,
Yep.
Paul, Rob, but Paul's made a good point that there are varying strands of horror these days. The focus is on the extreme end of the genre, but there is an appetite for the more subtle arts. There's a plethora of imaginative writers out there, and all have their audiences, all are earning respect. You just have to find them. Agreed, Paul. I'm just reading this out for anybody who's just watching the video and not reading the comments. Paul's also said the industry itself is huger than it's ever been. I agree. It's absolutely massive. There's the pros and cons in that. I totally agree. People not editing their work, cut corners. They pay more for the artwork and the promotion than they do perfecting the content sometimes. That's not a slant on anybody or any publishers. That's just saying I don't think a lot of there's quite a lot of people I've read recently, unfortunately new authors who aren't very well edited, and I think the importance of editing has been drilled into me since I got into the industry. Edit your work, and I think we all learn something from that. But I think also, if instead of paying out for the artwork and paying out for the promotion, make sure the book is good to go and pay for the editors. Nothing comes for free. I think a lot of people get into this industry and think, you can put your 99 cents books out and people are going to love them. It's a real wake-up call when, you're having to really do the slog work day in and day out, competing with personalities on the internet that aren't selling anything other than other people's merchandise. So when it's down to yourself to sell your own stuff. How do you feel about the ways in which authors are being made, or not made, but the way authors are promoting themselves across social media? Do you think it's oversaturated? And Paul, if you want to chip in on that, please feel free.
Um,
And
I think
Heather.
I think to an extent we are saturated with all of us trying to promote ourselves. I agree, Paul. I really hate promoting. I hate it with a passion. I do, because I always feel like you're just clogging up people's time streams, or if they're in a group, you're clogging it up again. Here you are again with the same book, or it might be a new one. It doesn't really matter. It's the same face again. I really do hate that side of it.
Like spam sort of
it does
posts
feel like
that
I'm
you get.
spamming people. I try to keep it to a minimum. I'd rather do that and not drive on. You get some people may start clicking on it through interest or whatever, and you might get unintended sales out of it. But I'd rather get sales that are actually genuine, that are natural. And I'd rather have them
when
be
they
much
just
fewer
discovered you and they go.
Then exactly.
Yeah, like they just discovered you, they go read your book,
exactly.
and they really appreciate what you've written. They're following you because they want to know about future releases.
Yes.
Maybe ask questions about the current
absolutely.
I absolutely adore that.
I've given people to I've had lots of friend requests, especially the latter, this second half of the year. I've started getting a lot more friend requests and people starting to come to my page than I've had for years. And they're all very well connected to other people. So you know that it's starting to get more genuine interest. They're seeing you on other people's pages, or they're seeing you and other connected to other people's author pages, and they come and they're drifting in. And I've gained quite a number of really lovely, genuine readers who have been absolutely wonderfully kind in responding to my work, and so I can't be anything but grateful for that. But it is really difficult having to promote. It's something I don't like doing. I can see so much of it now. I really don't like it. I really hate having the promotion and the marketing part of it. Unfortunately, it's part and parcel of the process at the moment. It's a necessary evil at the moment. If we could have someone to do it for us, someone who's professional marketer, professional promoter, to do these things, because they understand the business, they understand when is right to promote and to hold back. They know they've got all the tricks with the little subtle things they can do without spamming everybody, without throwing it in everybody's face everywhere. It's got to be. It used to be very sort of author-centric, so it would be appropriate to the author and to their style, to their what they're writing, as to how you promote, how you market. And it's very difficult to do that now, because it's very difficult to promote in that way, because not everybody, a lot of people are not. Again, it's all about being instant. People need to see your work now, straight away. It's got to be given to them straight away. And people are not looking for a build-up of things, a build-up of leading up to your work and seeing things come around and saying, what's that? What's all that about? And letting mysterious little advertisements filter through to really build that work, to make that interest. That's not around anymore, because there are not as many big publishers, and they're not taking on smaller authors. They're taking on bankable names. They're going to take on, if someone comes in from celebrity, I don't know, blow up the kitchen, they're going to take someone from there because they've got the name. It's easy. It's easy money. You can't blame them. They've got to stay in business. But that's what's driving us into be indie authors rather than larger public houses, because they've either gone the route of staying in business by getting bankable names, or they've kind of done themselves out of business. By bad, by not being a very good publisher, by selling people out. We've seen a number of big name publishing houses start to hit the wall because they've not looked after their authors. They've not, or their audience, and these are the perils. And so you're left with being, if you want to be an author, you're left with, for the most part, you're going to enter the business independently. So you can enter as an indie author. To get out of being an indie author and become a big name, you're going to need not just skill and knowledge, but you're going to need a lot of luck and a lot of things to be in the right place at the right time. And it only happens for a very, very select number of people across the world at any given time. And
well, from my point of view, nobody ever gets anywhere on their own. It takes a team of people to get, further in life. It doesn't matter who, whether it be your friends, it be your family, or you be work colleagues. As authors, we're pretty much loners, and I've found it helpful since I got into the industry to find people like you, Paul, and you know, a few others, a handful of others that, you're open minded, you're willing to chat, you're willing to, share each other's work and um, just push each other as well. You're not
Absolutely.
only helping each other, but you're setting the standard for all other people. This is how you should do. You know, nobody gets anywhere on their own. I would rather bring people with me than leave them behind. So, bring
I'm
me to my next
absolutely,
question, Rob.
I'm absolutely with you.
My next
I wouldn't, I'm open and honest. I say I wouldn't be able to keep going and doing things, and certainly wouldn't be in a position I'm now without people such as yourself and Paul, and there's so many names I could put out there that really helped me and
Yeah,
continue to support me and share me, and have given me so much knowledge, and have continued to share knowledge that I've never had or I don't have now, and I'm learning all the
yeah,
time. As I say, that I could just run off names. I don't want to run off a list of names, but I'd love to do just to give them promotion. But there's so many names that do so well
yeah,
and back me. So I will always respond with that, and I'll do it to people who are just coming in as well. I've got this, and if I'm
yeah,
interested, and if you're a nice person, I will do it. I'll quite happily do it all day long, because I know without people such as you, connecting with people such as yourself and Paul, and Camilla especially, I wouldn't be anywhere, because it's people such as yourself and other authors such as yourselves that have allowed me to get to where I am by simply saying, you might want to read this person. They're a nice person, but some of what they're doing is pretty good. And that's all
yeah.
I wouldn't even ask for that, but person, that's all you can
I
ever
think that's a
ask for people.
bonus. If you like the person and then you like their work, that's a bonus. I also think that even if you don't like the work, I think honest, polite, respectful opinions saying, well, this isn't for me, but I think it's written well. I think this, I think that, and I think that helps you create respect between the two of you, because I mean, I only need to reference me and Camilla, who come from different angles on a lot of things, but along the same spectrum, just at different ends of the same coin.
Oh, it's always on the
Two different
same.
sides of the same coins, almost.
It's all the same subject material at the end of the day. Like I say, but it's just you're coming at it from a different angle. You're talking about everything's about, a lot of us are about in horror. It's about transformation, and
Yeah, definitely.
my sort of we come at transformation from a different direction. So for some, transformation is about a person to a vampire. Some are to werewolves. Some are, all about the
Demon to
man
human,
and
human to demon.
demons. Exactly. It's all about transformation. I come
It's
from a
all
kind of
about. I
very
see Steve.
weird part
Sorry,
of
I
it.
just need to just give an Easter egg to my Darklings. They love Isisty. He's the man. He's the demon. That people just absolutely adore. I didn't intend on writing that kind of character. But I like it when things like that happen because it's organic and it's not intended. But when you get that kind of reaction from readers, it's everything you do it for, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
And it doesn't matter what genre you're writing either, I suppose, in that respect, because you're all creating a world and it's you that paints in the colours, it's you that fills in the details, it's you that. I don't know why my phone's being a weirdo. Sorry about that, Rob. Um,
so I can hardly get myself
it's
in the little thumbnail picture I've got on the Kindle. So if you see me moving around, it's just I'm trying to centralise myself into the picture, and so I end up looking like some
Yeah,
kind of,
I've got a laptop in the background. It's actually a better appearance on the laptop. Your little camera appears better on the computer screen than it does on a phone, but it's nice and clear,
That's
and
all right, because from what
lighting's
I
good
can
on
say, I
it.
look like Earthworm Jim, but
So, Rob, tell us about your new release.
Right.
Because
Well,
you've got a new book out, haven't you?
I've the last major book I put out, it was Dark Worlds. I would show you the video and show you a picture, but I don't think I've got the book. Have I got it up here? I can't reach it. It's up too far up there. But people would have seen. Some people may have seen the picture of it around. But Dark Worlds is a short a collection of short stories. It's only half a dozen stories in there, but it's all about. Again, there's the transformation angle in there, but it's about. In this case, it's more like transportation, going from somewhere to somewhere else, going into a different world. And these worlds are not necessarily great ones, but they're the ones that are appropriate to you. They're all centralized really around what, again, I'll say people have termed as my sort of Lovecraftian mythos of the Mashik. And the Mashik is the world in which all these stories are built around. So they're not necessarily taking place in the world.
Would you like it to something like Philip K. Dick, who does those short stories? He wrote that, is it 8,000-page essay about we live in a simulation back in the 80s?
I don't think I could manage probably a 1,000-page essay, let alone 8,000 pages. But
did you see that on? I think it was on Channel 4. It was called Electric Dreams.
But I did see something. I do find I don't read a lot of Philip K. Dick, but I do find his perspective interesting, and it's possibly one of those things that is into your work subconsciously. It's quite insidious how some people's ideas creep into your own body of work. But to say with my work with this book, the stories kind of not necessarily taking place in that world, but it all tends to end up in the world of the Mashik. But it comes from different. Again, you're coming from different angles. You're coming from different points. You're not all going into the world from one thing. There is. I have a book which a lot of people, one way or another, end up through Mashik through this book. But I also have a lead, quite a ethereal type of character that comes in. You could sort of call them like a death character or a pinhead type of character that are called upon. But you can.
That makes me think of Silent Hill with triangle head,
these things.
pyramid head.
So sorry.
It makes me think of Silent Hill with pyramid head.
Yes, yeah. I mean, one way or another, you end up transported into the world. And a lot of it's mainly through people's curiosity, their desire, their willingness, and through their attitude, and people's desire to know more. It's sometimes people want more than what they actually realise that they want, or they
don't.
A certain
they
thing,
realise they don't want what they thought they wanted.
Yeah, it do. It's like they end up with far more than what they thought. They're designing something, and what they get is more than they wanted. I think
one of your short stories that I read a while ago. Now I think it was pre-editing. I think it was the woman shot her husband, or husband shot his wife, and he came to reconcile with that.
Yes. Yes, that was,
she was always with him.
Yes, that would have been Bang Bang.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one.
It's it's one of those things, because the funny thing about it was I had this idea of someone having killed their partner and it being there being some regrets on one side or the other.
Yeah.
The weird, and this is me all over, but the weird thing about it was the main body idea of the work that really sort of got me hooked in and just ploughing into it, writing up night after night, was actually listening to Nancy Sinatra, hence the title Bang Bang. So people will be quite surprised, they might be quite interested or surprised, weirded out that it's Nancy Sinatra that gave actually the body of work to it, because when I listened to the song Bang Bang, it just, everything came in. I thought, there's a story here. She's alluding to that story, and there's more to it here. And I think I can see a darker edge to this, but I can see something more positive in there as well. And so I was playing around with that idea. I had the basic idea, and then I was playing around with what the lyrics of the song, and seeing where the story kind of met, where my ideas and the lyrics kind of intertwined, and then and that's when I could see. Now I can see where it's going. Now I can see what the story is and what happened, how it happens, and where the regret lies. And I think, to me, there was regret on both sides. There was regret because she sensed that there was a separation occurring, that he was withdrawing. She didn't know why, but she knew he was withdrawing. And I think he kind of sensed that she was doing the same, but in a different way. She was withdrawing from him, I think, because she felt something that she wasn't. She felt isolated, a bit sort of left out, and I think he was feeling left behind, and so it was the juxtaposition. They're feeling the same emotion, but for different reasons, and they never got that conversation. What they got
that really struck out for me. That story. I mean, I enjoyed the whole collection. I really did, but that particular one stayed with me. My next question is, because we're coming up to nearly 3/4 of an hour, so I'm going to give, before we get on to where you're doing a takeover next, because you are doing a takeover this evening, aren't you, at 9 o'clock?
Yes.
So to wrap up, before we announce where you're doing a takeover, I have posted links. I'll post them again at the end of the video. Where do you see your next body of work going, and when are we going to see more from you?
Well, in terms of a body, I put out a short story not so long ago. I'm not really advertised it anywhere. It's just a little bit just to because it had been a work that had been in a friend's anthology. And sometimes when I put a story out there, that it gets a certain reaction, it's got a certain kind of size to it, and I'll get feedback saying, I really like this, it'd be nice to see this on its own. And so occasionally I put stories out on Kindle on their own. So that one was called Gardening, so I put that one out, so that's available on Kindle now. In terms of work that's coming, hopefully, if I get a short story done, then I'll get another collection of short stories done by hopefully late, call around about autumn time. It should come. I should have it done. So something around that time. I've got works. I've got one being Semi-Animus is being edited or on the way. I'm still sort of paying out on the editor, so it's going to be a little while yet, because I do have quite large plans for that. How I'm going to pull them off, I haven't got a clue. but I'll give it a damn good try because I want to make it quite unique.
Yeah.
It's got a second story to come for that. So that one I don't suspect will be out, at least I did sort of say late this year, early next year. That was kind of optimistic given the time frame I've got to pay and get everything ready and all the things I want to do with it. There's lots of things exclusive things I want to do alongside to tie up with it and to make it special for certain individuals, certain readers and things like that. So I don't expect that to be out much earlier than probably summer next year. It's going to take as long as it takes, so I wouldn't see that anytime soon. I do have a story that I'm reworking, which was Impenitence. That one I'm going to I'm reworking now, and that again it's going to take as long as it takes, but hopefully once I've done it, that will be going off to Burning Willow Press, who have been very kind about the work and very positive and really keen on it. So there was no question in my mind speaking to Kendra and Ed Sauder and having their thoughts on the work and what they had to say to me, not just about the work, but just personal conversations with them. I knew when they said we would like it, it was going to go there straight away. So there was no question about it. But as I say, Ed gave me some wonderful advice and some wonderful pointers, and it's some wonderful kind things. So I was easy going to go with them because of the great advice that they'd given me and the warmth. So that one will be with Burning
If you want to pop a link, if you want to pop a link over to me, I'll share it with the video for the press that you're talking about. Well, we've had a damn good chat, haven't we, Rob?
It's been lovely.
It has.
Certainly
really
for me.
I don't know about you.
I don't know about anyone watching, viewers. There's always a sense of horror just seeing me pop up on their screen. So especially today, it's a terrifying thing. So I always appreciate every.
You look like a horror writer, Rob. You look like a horror writer.
Well, so I like to do something a bit different now. I'm not trying to see what ridiculous look I can get away with before people go, "What the hell are you doing?" But I think people expect it from me these days. They go, I live to the mantra of growing old disgracefully. I'm going to bow out disgracefully as well. So if it's disgraceful, I'm going to be there.
Yeah, well, let's party together and then we can see each other out that way.
Absolutely.
I'm going to continue to do videos like this on Facebook for now. But we both have a secret for people, don't we, coming up really soon. We've got a joint project that I think people are going to be very excited about. So pop over your links in private message. I've still got your ones for your takeover. Where are you at 9 o'clock?
I am, if I can, I'll be on Louise Hand's revamp takeover. I think it's, if I can't remember, I haven't got it on the computer at the moment. The hands, if they go to, I think it's Hands on Books group, there's a takeover event. They'll access it there. They'll find me there. I will pop up a link on my own page very shortly, so people can find me there. But yeah, 9 o'clock. I will be doing I'll be doing a half-hour slot, and hopefully I'll do a video because I'm terribly slow at typing. Everybody's found.
Is it the Dark Side of Fiction? It's called. On Books website launch takeover at. I think they're in the States, so that's 12 p.m. stateside.
Some of them are
And
states. I think some of
9.
them are in the UK. So it's a mixture of bags. So some of them are
Okay.
from a UK and some of them are US time. But I'll definitely be there. If you're in the UK, I'll definitely be there 9 p.m. And
Okay.
I'll try and I'll hopefully be able to do a live video on there. So if everyone wants to crowd over there and ask questions that they may not have got answered or would like to have me answer, I'll answer anything. Always I'll answer anything, but obviously because it's someone else's page, please keep it clean, because I don't
I'm easy with whatever anybody wants to put on my page. If I don't like it, I'll get Isis on you and delete it. Anyway.
I don't, for mine, I don't really care when it's mine because I've got a potty mouth and I'm not too bothered with mine. But when it's someone else's page, when it's someone else's group, that's when I'll say, yeah, keep it clean. So no, they can be silly, but not offensive or dirty or anything else. Yeah, that can be offensive to anyone. But otherwise, I'll answer anything. I'll talk to anyone. Fire the questions away. So I'm going to try and spend the next 15 minutes trying to work out whether I'm going to be successful at doing a live video on their event page and everybody on the event page actually be able to watch it, because as you know, I'm absolutely freaking horrible with technology. It hates me.
I expected the gremlins that was used to interrupt the initiation of the video, but once we got into the swing of it, it's been pretty easy.
Well, I think I've found out that I can't join the video on computer because my webcam is obviously not good enough and my computer's not good enough.
I found that on my laptop. I couldn't
we can do it.
add you. Yeah. So I think the phones and portable devices are the way to go when doing these things in future. Now we know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If you want to put a link into my page for this video, or this video in particular, into your next one, so it gives them a bit of a
yeah, I'll pop that in there.
Thing.
So do it. Yeah.
Feel free to use it.
I'll certainly do that.
I'm going to put this up on YouTube. I'm going to put this up on YouTube. So I'm going to cut the live video and we'll speak to you in 30 seconds after I've wrapped up here and posted all the links. Okay? It's been really nice speaking to you, Rob. I'll see you at the takeover.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Ciao for now.